Today is Friday, March 31, 2023. I'm Pastor Michael, and this is Wilderness Wanderings. Our text is from Deuteronomy 5. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. You shall not set your desire on your neighbor's house or land, his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Deuteronomy 5:21. This 10th covenant word is different from the rest. The others concern things that we do which can be witnessed. The 10th is about our thoughts or desires. It's helpful to simplify this verse to, do not desire your neighbor's stuff. Using the word stuff helps us overcome the cultural differences between Israel and ourselves. Further, to say stuff helps us understand that when we covet someone's spouse, we dehumanize that person. No person should be reduced to stuff. Each of us bears the image of God. We desire a person's body without regard for the person. We desire the goods and resources of other people without any regard for the people themselves. We often desire God's world and even God's heaven without any regard for God himself. This desire is selfish and endlessly hungry, constantly craving to be filled again and again. Desire is not wrong. God made us with desire. What is addressed here is a longing that says, I want the things that belong to you. And we begin to scheme within ourselves to get it. Or we imagine what our life would be like with that stuff. We desire the success that our competition has. We desire the nicer car our friends have, or their nicer family members. Remember the first sin? Eve went from observation. She saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, to desire, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, to the inevitable deed. She took some and ate it. Genesis 3:4-7. The desire to have something which they did not have led Eve and Adam to commit their first sin. Coveting is an extremely dangerous sin. Is it possible that coveting lies at the heart of most sin? Something to ponder. What we need to hear again is what Martha heard from Jesus after she had complained to him that her sister was just sitting around listening, not helping her in the kitchen. Jesus' answer to her was, Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Luke 10:41-42. There's only one thing that is really needed, that is, Jesus. When we focus our desire on him, life becomes quite simple and much happier. Seek first God's kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things we need, will be given to you as well. Matthew 6:33. If our lives are lived with this one desire, we will not need to desire the things others have. This new desire grows by the gardening of the Spirit of God. It includes a conscious refusal to be conformed to the pattern of this world, and a deliberate effort to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Romans 12:2. Even in our culture, which constantly tickles our old nature back to life, it is possible to work out our salvation with fear and trembling, precisely because it is God who works in us to will and to act according to his good purpose. Philippians 2:12-13. Not only actions, but also desires and thoughts are now under the Redeemer's control. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, or praiseworthy, we learn to think about such things. Philippians 4:8. We take pleasure in whatever is right. The law shows us our sin. It shows how imperfect we are. This knowledge keeps us humble before God and dependent on Jesus. It constantly reminds us of how much we need Jesus and his redemption. But the law also whets our appetite for spiritual transformation. It gets us hungering and thirsting for righteousness, Matthew 5:6, and craving pure spiritual milk, 1 Peter 2:2. The law awakens in us a desire for doing what is right. It constantly reminds us to fight against the flesh and its evil desires that still cling to us. Our goal is to become like Jesus. To be like Jesus is to have true righteousness and holiness, Ephesians 4:24. a spirit of obedience to God to the service of humanity, Philippians 2, 5-11, and mature knowledge of Christ, Ephesians 4. It also means that we are being transformed into his likeness with ever-increasing glory, which comes from the Lord who is the Spirit, 2 Corinthians 3:18. It is a process of getting more of God in us and less of us in us. For when Jesus appears, we shall be like him. 1 John 3:2. As you journey on, go with the blessing of God. May the peace of the Lord Christ go with you wherever he may send you. May he guide you through the wilderness, protect you through the storm. May he bring you home rejoicing at the wonders he has shown you. May he bring you home rejoicing once again into our door.